This is my, I've only been here since May.
Okay.
Okay, so I've never heard about Shining Light up until now. Um, the reason why I did it and I signed up for it is because I promised God after I had got locked up that I was going to devote as much as my time to God as possible and prove to him that I am willing to serve and minister to him in any way, shape, form, and fashion that I could. So I really thought I would be more behind the scenes. The way it was explained to me, I was like, okay.
I'll be a stagehand. Yeah.
Or maybe if they let me a little bit of engineering, because I do that out there. And when I found out it was more of getting into something more artful, I was going back out at first, but I decided to stick with it. I haven't been on the stage in 20 years, so.
What did you do on stage before?
I rap.
Oh, yes, okay.
I rap, so that's what I do out there. I have an independent music label, so it comes natural to me. And so when I decided to do it, I said, okay, I'll rap for Jesus instead of what I usually do on the streets.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love everything about it. I love the people. I love how they treat us. Like he was saying, it's not just, we're more than just an inmate. You know what I mean? And that feels good. And like Frankie said, it brought me to life. Like I said, I haven't been on the stage in 20 years. And for me to get up there and be in front of people and to do something that I forgot I used to love.
And that you're good at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It definitely brought me back to life. And it made me feel like, you know what, I could go out there and I still might have a chance at answering what I feel like might be the calling on my life, and that's to glorify God through gospel hip hop.
So take me through then, like day one, they call you in and like you first kind of like, you go through like the icebreakers that Anna does and all that. Like, what are some of your first thoughts where you're either like, this is so messed up, or...
At first... Because of the lifestyle I was used to living, especially when I was younger, I come from a heavy drug gangster type of family. Everybody in my family was, head of gangs and stuff like that. So I always had to walk around, or maybe I felt like I had to walk around and put out this image, this tough guy. I can't have fun. I don't laugh. I don't joke around. And she broke all of that. Anna broke all of that. The first day I was like, this is crazy. I was looking around at people. I was like, look at all these men in here acting stupid. But
yeah, exactly.
Once you get into it, once you get into it, it loosens you up and it melts away that hardness, and you begin to realize I'm still a human myself. I'm not who the streets and society has made me to be. And, I went up to her afterwards and I told her, I need to know the names of all these things you're doing because I want to go home and do these with my children. You know what I mean? Because it's fun. And I don't know how to have fun. I really don't. And I noticed that with Anna, her spirit is just overjoyous. And watching her and how she interacts with people and everybody that's come with Shining Light showed me that, it is okay to have fun, to let your guard down sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For me, it was totally different because, like I said, I come from a real drug-oriented family, and once I got out of that, I fought so hard to be the opposite of that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is my first time, 42 years old, and this is my first time ever in state prison. And because I fought so hard to not be here, I'm a subcontractor and I have my music company and I work around a lot of millionaires, and I didn't realize it until I came here, but it started to change my perception on life a lot. So when I came here, I was pretty much looking at y'all the way I think the outside looked at y'all. Like, I'm crying out to God and myself, like, why do you have me around these people? I am nothing like none of these guys, you know what I mean? And they're all walking around with this real hard exterior on, and the way the guys talk on the block, I'm like, I don't want to say nothing to nobody, and I really don't. I really don't know nobody. I've been here since May, and I probably talked to a good 2-3 people the whole time I've been here because I've been so distant and to not wanting to get involved in what I perceived as what these men were like. But coming to Shining Light, I've been talked to 36 different men. You know what I mean?
Also, say that sentence in terms of months to give people perspective of like, in, what has it been? May was 5, so like 4 months. I haven't talked to, or 5 months, I've talked to 2 people.
Yeah,
like, so
two,
say that sentence again so people
I
understand.
haven't talked to anybody in 4 to 5 months since I've been here. 2, 3 people at the most. And I keep it at those 2, 3 people on the block because, you know, I just didn't want to be involved. The way I see them acting and how did these men portray themselves. But, you know what I mean? Since I've been in Shining Light and talking to these men, I realized, too, that they might not show it on the block, but when they're back in their cells by themselves, they're thinking about their kids and they're thinking about their wife and their loved ones, too. You know what I mean? And like you said, we all in here, we all are going through the same pain.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to be punished for the crimes that we did. But what I think people don't realize is not so much the jail time, it's the not being with your family that I think hurts the most than anything. Being sentenced and, you know, if you do the crime, you do the time, that's what they say. Well, that's understandable. But it's not being with your family that really stinks. The trays don't bother me. Everybody complains about the food here. I'm like, whatever, I need an extra one. None of that, you know, none of how they run this operation really bothers me. We did it, you know what I mean? How the guards talk to us and everything. That's not what bothered me. When I get in that cell at night and I can't, you know, hear my son's steps run up and down the hallway, that's when it hits. And I think anybody in a situation that has children, if they're not feeling that, then they really are a hard-hearted person. And for the most part, I haven't, since I've been in Shining Light, I don't think that's true. I don't think everybody in here is as hard as they're putting on. I think they're just doing it because they think that's how they have to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when we came here, we got to let down our guard and expose our vulnerability and say, hey, look, I'm hurting. I miss my kids. I miss my wife. I lost my company. I lost my business. And we're all going through it. So
right.
it gave us a chance to bond and get closer. For me, I'm a money man. So I can tell how much a promoter values what we do by that signing bonus. Right?
You better preach.
Yeah. So, you know, it's one thing to say we're talented and you believe in us, but when you put that check up, that shows your commitment. And when I walked in there and I saw the stage and the lights and everything, I said, wow, this is a couple $100,000 worth of equipment right here. I said, these people are really going all out. They're really invested into prison ministry for real. It's not just you know, like some of the other people that come up here for an hour or whatever like that. I'm not, and like he said, I'm not saying that they're bad people or nothing like that. But when you put money up, that says another thing about your commitment and your level to the people that you're dealing with. Because you're not going to spend money on something you don't believe in. You're not going to put money out there for something you think is a failure or is not going to work or you're not invested in wholeheartedly yourself. So when you put your money up like that, and when I heard them say the tractor trailer too, I was like, I wonder what kind of equipment they really going to bring.
Right.
Like, when are they going to let them come through the gate within the prison? Like,
right.
But when I seen it, I said, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. And I thank y'all for it because it, like I said, it showed me that it feels good being up there on stage. And,
right.
You know what
and then we take you seriously.
Yeah. I know I said that I'm a money man, and it means a lot. You know, you can tell when someone's invested in you how much money they put up. When I take my artists around and I try to book them shows at certain clubs in Philly, I can tell if they really think my artist is hot when that promoter says, well, we're going to pay him $3,500 for this show. We're going to pay him $5,000 for that show. So that means a lot, seeing them come here with this amount of equipment, you know what I mean? And I wanted to add that what you spoke about the balance, I think the DOC needs to understand that more. Because when we're in here, once these guys are done their programs and their schooling, there's nothing here to do. There's nothing here to do. So all they have left is to walk around with their hard exterior going all day, I'm tougher than you. You know what I mean, mentality, because there's nothing else to do here. You know what I mean? I'm kind of dreading when this is over Sunday, because then it's back to the same routine. This gave us a breath of fresh air, not just to get off the block, but just to have an activity that you enjoy doing. You know, they need more things like Shining Light, and not just for the arts. I mean, they could bring pottery up here. They could. Who knows? Some of these guys might like to crochet. I don't know. but they need something because this is not rehabilitating nobody. If anything, you're making these men worse.
Yeah.
You're making them worse. They go home with the same. I sit around and I hear them talk, and sometimes I just want to lash out and rage and say, "Listen to how y'all sound." You're going back out there to do the same thing that got you here in the first place. That makes no sense to me. But this is all they talk about all day. Because I had one of the young guys yesterday, he told me this is all I know. And I told him, I said, y'all can't tell by how I act because everybody on the block say I'm real humble. But I used to be a terror in the streets. It's just I gave my life to Christ and it's a complete 360. But I used to be a real problem. And so I know you can go from being that to being this. And if you see yourself as that all the time, you're never going to change.
Right.
You know, so I always try to present them with ideas of how I made money legally. Look, y'all can go out and y'all can do this. You don't have to go out here and sell drugs and home invasions and breaking people's houses and stuff like that to make money. There's legal ways of making very good money, and you don't have to be that educated or smart to do it. You know what I mean? I tell them all the time, on an average year, I might make about $150,000 a year legally. I don't even have a GED.
Yeah, it's just an awareness of options for sure.
Right, you know what I mean? So it's not about, because it's a guy here, I think he's a lifer. He told me he got his PhD here. So I was like, I want to sign up for that. He said, they got rid of the programs.
Yeah.
So there's nothing here for nobody to achieve, no goal to strive for. You know what I mean? And then Shining Light comes in and it gives you a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
And I hope it radiates throughout the prison. The 2 weeks was wonderful. I would like it to be 2-3 months.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say real quick, Shining Light is definitely sent by God. For those of us that are followers of Christ, God looks on his own and he sees us in here and he knows our hearts and he made up in his all-wise mind, I have to bring something in there for my people because this system will harden their hearts and destroy them. They are losing hope and God is a God of hope, and that's what Shining Light brought here. It brings hope.